Hey there. Today we'll be talking about email marketing agency services. This is one of the questions I get the most from folks in my audience. So I'm really excited for this presentation today. You're going to learn a ton of things. Today's agenda is what an email agency actually does, what my personal agency team looks like, and therefore the roles that you might need for yours, what agencies charge after talking to hundreds of different agencies. I have the landscape of pricing, and then some free and paid resources to start and scale your own personal agency. So let's get started. Really quickly, though, I don't like talking about myself, but this is my background. I have 45 full time employees at my email agency across 5 different roles. We'll get into that in one second. We're working with over 100 different e commerce brands. All of our brands do between 7 to 9 figures in annual revenue. And we've done over $75 million in email revenue over the past 3.5 years. And we're one of Klaviyo's, which is an email platform's top agency partners. So let's get started. What does an email agency actually do? Right, this one's fairly straightforward, but there's 3 ways in which an agency can work with a brand. One is done for you, one is done with you, and then I guess the other one is kind of in-house, right? So two that an agency or freelancer can kind of tackle, and then the other one is an internal team. So an email agency does exactly what it sounds. It manages the email channel for a brand. So in my case, we work specifically with e-commerce and direct-to-consumer brands, but you could have an email agency for SaaS, for B2B, for info. But for today's context, I'm just going to use e-commerce, although this will be applicable to other things. So for us in particular, we do done for you fully outsourced email team. Basically plug and play. We come in and we serve as your email team. So instead of building it internal, that's how we solve that function. So we have 5 different roles on our team, which we'll talk about next. And that's kind of how we get things from idea and strategy to execution and implementation. The other kind of thing that you guys can leverage is done with you. And this is more of like a kind of consulting type thing where you are maybe an expert, someone has some kind of internal structure and bandwidth and team, and you kind of go in and you give them the playbook and you kind of almost act as like the email specific channel CMO of sorts. So the email agency, again, will basically handle a team's internal email channel with the goal of driving revenue and engagement. And in most cases today, when someone wants to outsource something, they do want to outsource to done for you team. So you do need a bunch of other roles. And this is what my team looks like. And hopefully you can kind of mimic and copy this as well. So the 5 roles we have, one is an email marketer / strategist. The next is an email designer, an email copywriter, an account manager, and a developer. So the email marketer and strategist does exactly what it sounds. They're responsible for moving the vision forward, helping drive revenue from email, doing a lot of kind of the strategy and tactic type stuff. The email designer does all the visual assets and elements that makes the email look beautiful and nice, does all the GIFs and the animations and the rendering. The email copywriter obviously does all the written words, the copy, the subject lines, call to actions, all those types of things. The account manager is really helpful for making sure that they're like the liaison between the client and the team and making sure that the project management system's up to date, making sure that deadlines are hit, and so on. And then the developer basically takes the email that the team builds and custom codes it in HTML so that way it renders properly across all devices and whatnot. So that's kind of the agency model and team. On the done with you side, you might only really need 1 or 2 people. Maybe you need like a strategist and maybe an account manager. The strategist will just tell the team what to do and kind of run the playbook of just strategy, and then the actual internal team that works for the brand that is the client will handle the execution piece. So that's on the team, the roles. By the way, if you have any questions, if any of this stuff isn't clear, feel free to just drop a comment. I really want to engage with you. Hit a like on the video, subscribe to my channel, drop a comment. I'm going to be making tons of videos like this so far for the month of September. I've done a daily video, and I'm planning to do daily, if not multiple times per week. So drop a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you like this video. So moving on. So what do agencies charge? So I've talked to hundreds of brands that have gone through my courses, that are on my free newsletters, that are on my paid newsletters. They're basically in my community, and I talk to them about their pricing and I help them figure out, well, what should you charge? Well, let's talk about what people do charge. There's 3 different pricing tiers. One is kind of small, medium, and large. So on the small side, kind of the lower side, agencies are charging typically about $1,000 to $3,000 per month. On the medium side, they're typically charging about $4,000 to $6,000 per month. And on the higher end, they're typically charging about $7,000 to $10,000 per month, right? In most cases, these are done for you versus done with you. Done with you, you're probably charging a little bit less on each tier just because you have to do a lot less work and a lot less time commitment. But on the done for you side, so That's inclusive of copy, design, strategy, implementation, reporting, right? The entire works. So what we typically do, and this is also a big question I get, is do I do flows as a project and then campaigns ongoing? We do both in tandem. We have one monthly retainer where we basically just work with the brand and we do X number of emails, 10 emails a month, 15 emails a month, 20 emails a month. We have different packages, and then those emails get split into campaigns and get split into flows. And a campaign, for those that are unfamiliar, is a one-time send to a group of contacts. Think about some kind of holiday offer or some kind of product launch, where the automation, the flow, is an email that's sent off of a behavior, some kind of action or trigger. Someone enters their email into a pop-up, that triggers the welcome series. Someone adds something to cart, doesn't start checkout, doesn't purchase, that triggers the abandoned cart. So we typically like to bundle the two in tandem. And let's say someone's paying us for 10 emails a month. We might do 5 in a given month for flows and 5 for campaigns. Or maybe someone is with us for 15 email months. Maybe we'll do 8 to 10 emails for campaigns and the remaining emails, right? The remaining 5 to 7 for flows. Every month is slightly different depending on the holidays, product launches, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then also too, depending on when we come in on the flow side. If the flows are kind of weak, we might spend a lot more time there first just to get those buttoned up and running tests. So that's kind of like the landscape of charging. Where you should charge in the beginning is probably pennies on the dollar and kind of in that smaller tier, just to make sure you can get that repetition, that case studies, and just be really familiar. And then increase your pricing every quarter. And as people kind of hear your pricing and they don't flinch and they don't push back, that knows that you need to increase your price. I started my email agency 3.5 years ago. We started out charging like a couple $100s, and now we charge between $6,000 to $8,000 a month, and we're really good, right? So we're kind of straddling that line of middle to high end because the services that we provide are top notch. Our design's incredible, our copy's incredible, our strategy is really, really dialed in. We're one of Klaviyo's top agency partners. We give them a lot of feedback. They give us a lot of feedback. We get access to things first. So as we went, we went from a couple $100s, and then we charged $500, and then we charged $1,000. So every couple quarters, every 3 to 6 months, we'd increase our pricing. And then some free and paid resources. So for those that don't know me, I have a weekly free email marketing newsletter, all for e-commerce folks. I've got over 21,000 people that receive a weekly email from me every single Monday with tips and tricks on starting an agency, scaling a brand's email channel, and so much more. I bring interviews with other founders and marketers in the email space that are crushing it. My agency does 7 figures per year as an agency. Like, those are the fees that we personally take. And we're doing about 8 figures or more in revenue every single year for our clients. So very, very profitable for our agency, very profitable for our clients. So I have a free weekly newsletter. I'll drop that in kind of the comment section and kind of the description below. I have a paid course. I've had over 2,000 people go through my courses. Almost all of them have come in organically. I have had 99% of them buy it just from watching my YouTube video or being on my newsletter or being on my Twitter. So I'll drop the link to my course. It's $749. The ROI on it for agencies, brands, and freelancers is massive, especially considering the pricing I told you that you guys can charge. This course is great for beginners to intermediates. So that way you can learn Klaviyo and you can learn e-commerce strategy. You can learn execution. So those are kind of the 2 best resources I have. In terms of getting clients, my buddy Daniel, who's better known as Black Hat Wizard, has a course on cold email. Cold email is a really great channel for acquiring clients. It's a paid course. I'll drop the link in the description below. So, subscribe to my YouTube. Great resource. Obviously, you're watching this video today. My free newsletter. I have a paid newsletter. All these info I can provide. Drop a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully this was helpful. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next email marketing resource and next email marketing video. Cheers, guys. Thank you.